Hey guys, been away for a few days because I've been prepping for the Masters Tour. Had a really fun Masters Tour. Started off 5-1, was making the shot to make top 16, and then lost my two matches. Played against friend and sometimes practice partner Druid. Unfortunately, lost 2-3. Very good series, and then lost my last match against a bad lineup. Ended up going 5-3. But had a really good Master Tour. I had some really good games. Thought I played really well. I always have an internal feeling of whether I played well or didn't. But I'm back, and there's a lot of new decks. There's a lot going on, and a lot of people are putting out sort of content on decks, and these are kind of decks I want to be playing. I'll probably be playing a lot of these on stream in the next 2 days. So if you want to see these, but these are decks that I'm all interested in. Almost all these have at least a decent win rate, and they're all running new cards. So I'm not going to be. There are decks that for example, Aggro Shadow Priest doing really, really well right now, largely to pilot on Kazakh. And I still can't pronounce the card right. Kazakusan. On the greed of the meta. But that being said, these are all decks that run new cards that have new innovations going on with them. They're all decks I'm really interested in playing. So first, we've got Spell Druid, and there's also Ramp Druid, but I just wanted to include one Druid deck list. But basically, Druid is running can run the old sort of Glowfly Arbor package, but because it now has an actual win condition of Kazakhstan, you can just play that, and you can use that as your win condition. So sometimes you can win with just Glowflies, but you also can win with the Kazakhstan style. So it's kind of like, this is very similar to old token Druid lists, but like sort of Jambray, Anaconda Druid, but it runs Kazakhstan, and it's a win condition. And this is going to do really well. If you're playing a lot of Druid, this will do really well in Druid mirrors because you get a Glowfly down and you win the game. So this is the highest win rate Druid list I found on HS Replay. Small sample size. The other really good one I'm not featuring in this video, but I brought to Masters Tour that doesn't run the Glowfly package, but it runs more defensive tools and runs Malagos as well. So next we've got Control Warrior, but this is Control Warrior with dragons. And so it runs a Nixian Dragon, a Nixian Warden, Kazakhstan, and Raid Rare. This dragon apparently is actually, because it's really convenient to play. Who knew? I wasn't sure if it would be easy enough to get the armor, but it looks like it's just a solid card. And even this Warden makes the cut, which I thought this card wasn't very good. I thought this was an arena card, but I guess when you have enough dragon consistency, it's good enough. And it's a Control Warrior, but instead of running the kind of charge package for the win condition, it runs Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan is just such a good win condition for control decks, because it's kind of a thing of, and it's, pretty much in Hearthstone right now, you need a powerful win condition. You're not going to get away with removal and fatigue. And Kazakhstan gets you to this situation where you kind of play control, and then you can get Kazakhstan, and then you get the bonkers cards that you can use to finish off your opponent. So another deck I'm looking forward to trying out. A lot of really interesting decks, a lot of meta information. I'm pleasantly surprised. I thought these cards would change nothing, but there's a lot going on, and this deck looks really cool. Next, we got Quest Rogue. Quest Rogue is doing really well right now. They've cut Scavs, but basically, it got this one card, SI7 Smuggler, but that card is about to put over Edge. McBanterface just got rank 1 legend with this deck after I saw on Twitter, I believe last night. So deck's doing really well. And yeah, I've gotten rank 1 legend with Quest Rogue before myself. It's a solid archetype, and it's just good fundamentals. So if you have good fundamentals, you can spend your mana, you can remove key threats, you can develop a curve, you can develop a plan to kill. You can do really well with this deck. So nothing that fancy, just one new card, but the archetype really benefited from one more, the SI7 redundancy. Next, we got two weaker decks, but you probably see these. This is Control Priest. It only runs 3 minions. It runs Light Maul Nether Drake and Kazakhstan, and then it runs Horn of the Rathian and Insight, so you can consistently draw these out. And you could often, if you happen to insight your Kazakhstan, you can get it off of Draconic Studies and get it down even as early as a turn 5. So you kind of play control. This does does quite well against aggro because it's got a lot of defensive tools. It's what's going to have trouble with is either, I think, powerful mid-range pressure of or just sort of greedy decks like anti-combo decks, anti-control decks like Mizaki Mage and Poison Rogue. It's going to get annihilated by those. But yeah, it's got, this deck will beat aggro, and then it's got the Kazakhstan win condition that can beat, another control deck, maybe a warrior, for example, a charge warrior. But you get down Kazakhstan and then you do broken stuff. So this is as a modest win rate, but it's not terrible. But this is definitely not this is probably a tier 3 deck, if anything. So not the strongest, but if you want to play some Control Priest, you can do it and you can win games. So yeah. And then finally, this is a list that isn't even on HS Replay, but I played it. This is the Hunterrace Quest Hunter, and this is probably a sub-optimal list. Statistically, I doubt this will have. It doesn't have the simplicity of other lists. So, but the way he plays it is he's very good. I played him in the Masters Tour this week. We had a very good match. I ended up 1-3-2. But he plays this very value oriented. He can really play the value game. So if you like value Hearthstone and you like having tons and tons and tons of options, part of the thing about decks that actually have high win rates, in my opinion, is they have less options, so you're less likely to make a bad play. I know, right? So, but this deck has lots of options. It has lock and load that can give you more value. It has resizing pouch. I think I watched Hunterrace, go for a 7-drop against Charge Warrior and got Mutinous to beat a Charge Warrior with this deck. And what's cool is you could go for the hero power normally, but if you happen to draw Beast Stalker Tavish, you can get Beast Stalker Tavish hero power. And with 0 mana hero powers and infinite refreshing, you can just get tons and tons of beasts. So if you're playing a value deck like a Control Warrior, they're just eventually they're gonna not be able to stop your constant onslaught of animal companions. So this is something I'm curious to try out. So he runs like these Mana Feed Pathers and Restaurant Viper and the Selected Breeders. So there's just ways you can get more and more and more value. If you know how to get more value, you can go for good resizing pouches. You can time your lock and loads. You can get good carry-on studies. So if you have an instinct of like how to stay in the game and when to be greedy and when not, this could be, I think, a really fun deck to play. And Hunterrace did well with it. That being said, I think this is probably will not be the highest win rate list, but it was just so cool playing against and seeing it. So it's a thing of this is not like I said, the first 3 lists all have the high win rates on HS Replay. These last 2 of the Priest and the Quest Hunter, I expect this one wasn't even on HS Replay, but I think they're just really cool. A thing to try out if you're and maybe it's actually good. Who knows if you can. So real interesting list. So I'm looking forward to trying it out myself. But so anyways, I got the codes below. Some of them have mobile links, some of them did not have mobile links, this one. But yeah, the codes are below. So if you're looking to, click below and you can find the codes. Hopefully I'll be streaming some of these games today and this weekend, trying out these decks, seeing what's actually good. So tune into the stream if you want to see, are these decks actually good and how do they play? I'll be figuring out too. So, maybe I'll make a guide on one of these decks later in the week. Anyways, hope you guys like that and